I think the way forward for Jamaica, right, is this. First of all, we have to fix, because the biggest problem that Jamaica has right now, the biggest problem is not an economical one. It's the crime in Jamaica. And the crime is perpetuated by the young people who are lost and supported by the women that support that system. Jamaica is a very hurt and broken society in terms of emotionally and mentally. And I think that the way forward to Jamaica is that when with the police doing what the police is doing, there should be another underlying system for that mental reinforcement of Jamaican society, where in which there are those counselors, there are those sessions with people that are going through all of this. Economically, you can help the people in the ghetto in terms of providing more opportunities for them so that they can actually write. Because again, when people don't have opportunities, they will do things outside of what they would typically do if there's no opportunities. However, there are people who get the opportunity, but because of the mindset, they still want to live in that place where all of the crime and stuff exists.
Comfort.
Right. So I think the first step would be for us to look at ways how we can get the people the emotional help, those people that are abused and hurt, to help them to see life in a different light. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to another evening of Let's Talk with Livewire Radio 95.7 FM and livewireradio.com. You know YBDP alongside J Star and Shawnee B. And tonight we're going to have a little discussion. We've been discussing through this last couple of series about the issues, the crime and violence in Jamaica. And we've been discussing some solutions that we think can help. Just hope that we can reach some people so that some people understand the fact that we love Jamaica and we want Jamaica to be better, and we're just trying to give solutions, and we just hope that people kind of just listen and hope that we can touch somebody and change some minds. So right now I'm going to turn it over to the host, J Star. Well, go on.
Hey, good night again, guys, and welcome to Let's Talk on Livewire Radio. And guys, just to piggyback off of our last episode of just basically talking about some of the issues of kids not having the father around and not able to give them the guidance and that they need to be successful in life. So, and in the last episode, we talk about what some of the issues in terms of what we can do in terms of just having solutions and not just not
showing the problem, right?
Yeah, not just talking about the problem and not having solutions. So this show's all about having solution, and it's called Let's Talk. And my question is, in terms of, not really a question, but just basically 90% of kids have been raised by their mom and their grandparents in Jamaica. Right? What do you guys think about that in terms of just how is that causing some of the issues in terms of just crime, kids being lost, kids getting raped, kids getting killed, end up in violence, not having the right guidance.
So,
Shawnee B, what do you think?
So one of the reasons why that happened is because of pitney having pitney.
Agree.
That's the biggest.
That's just simple.
That's
Dry,
it.
cut to the chase.
Dry and cut. You understand? People having pitney pretty much. That's dry and cut. So,
Right.
You see, the thing is that Jamaica, we have this big problem with basically teenage pregnancy.
Right.
Because in Jamaica is the only country I've seen this. Maybe it's other parts in the Caribbean. You understand? Maybe J Star can comment on this. Can come from Guyana, but Jamaica is the only country so far where I see little pitney, about 12 years old.
I breed.
Not even breed. Like them try to get into that act already.
Yeah,
I look woman.
Yeah.
You understand? They get in the act trying to look woman,
Right.
and these little kids are trying to grow up fast.
Right.
You understand? Basically, you see these little kids here, they want to smoke, they want to drink. I saw a video once on YouTube with this kid. Basically, he's in a party, with these grown-ups. He's there, having liquor in him hand.
Yeah.
You understand?
I'm born in weed. And,
you never have no weed, but I'm sure if you have weed in you.
I'm born in weed,
Yeah, but you have liquor in your hand and did him go on and go on, and they underneath one woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, back in the days when I used to grow up in Jamaica, you understand?
Mhm.
I know for a fact, if a little youth doing that, me, my age, somebody come and knock you out and send you guy a yard.
Right.
But a little youth, I did that. So guess what? This little youth that's doing that, and guess what?
Everybody encouraging.
Everybody encouraging, all
Yeah.
the adults around there
Yeah.
encouraging, right? Instead of like telling him, yo, go sit down.
Guy your bed and go sit down, brother.
Exactly. Go pick up your book or
Yeah,
do something.
Yeah.
This
That
little
used to
youth-
be the term. Go pick up your book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And no, it's this problem now. This little youth is gonna grow up and say, yeah, that's how you're supposed to live life.
Yeah.
Yeah, all you get up and do is, look woman.
Right, right.
All you get up and do is drink.
Right, right.
All you get up and do.
Robert and Mickle. Blood. Oh my you. Listen,
How you do it again?
Shadi B is
Exactly.
Shadi B is 100%
Yeah, so
correct.
I pitney, I've been pitney. That's point blank.
Shani B is 100% correct, because let me tell you something. When I was growing up, right, and for you, Livewire fans and stuff know Shani B is my son, right? And when I was a youth growing up, right, what I used to see, right, is in the community, like Richard Content is kind of the community that I grew up in, right? And one of the things that I knew from the older people that was there, if we not do certain things, the community, see what Jamaica lost, and I'll tell you a big part of what Jamaica lost is the community, the village that raised the child. You don't have that anymore. You don't have that village that raised the child, where if you go down the road and as a kid you do something wrong, Miss Alcy can grab you and slap you. Because I remember Miss Alcy used to kick my butt.
Yeah.
You understand? You go down the road and
Miss Alcy, you did a good job, but you need to kick his butt some more.
Same thing, because I grew up in that time.
Right,
like,
right.
a time like that,
And you,
she was there.
She was there, right? When you was growing up, Miss Alcy
So
was
Miss
there,
Alcy
right?
slap you too?
Yeah, no, you couldn't. You couldn't.
Miss
go back.
Alcy used to just thief the cricket ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Miss Alcy, you
Yeah.
can't do them things, you know.
Right.
Miss
So,
Alcy passed on
she
God.
passed on God. God rest
Rest
her
in peace,
soul.
Miss Alcy.
Her
Yeah, man.
son and I are very good friends, and we grew up at knowing that if we screw up, because my mother wouldn't jump on him, Miss Alcy wouldn't jump on me. Anybody that's in that community, my auntie, God rest her soul as well, she would have jumped off any one of us that do anything. We used to have those structure where you would know that it is. But the key behind of all of that, we had our grandfathers. And they were the grandfathers, like my grandfather, my son, and a lot of the other elderly men there. We knew that there was, so as boys, what we did was we would set our thing and go pose up with the big man them there and sit down around them and listen to them talk and kind of catch them vibes and thing like that, because we wanted to be them.
Exactly.
The problem is that in the community, there is none of these men around anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody around, the men that these kids are seeing are gunmen who are so they want to be those gunmen. The grandparents that you talked about, right? That the grandparents used to raise these kids. The grandparents, there was always a male figure there to say yes, no, maybe, or whatever, and we followed what they did. And besides, we never had the opportunity to say, one of the things that I see happen right now, right? And I see a video somebody put out where the cops went to pick somebody up, and the guy was there. The cops didn't pull any gun; they used mace, and they sprayed the mace on the guy and they get into the guy's eye or whatever. And the woman that were there, and women generally usually be more boisterous than men. The woman was like, murder, Lord God, murder. The cops pepper spray. It just gonna burn the guy, incapacitate him for a while, and then he's gonna be okay again. So I didn't understand that you were these women that was doing that back in the day with my grandparents, because even though I had my dad there, like I said, it takes a village to raise a child.
Definitely.
Even though I had my dad there, I also had, every holiday we wind up going to my grandmother and my grandfather, and we saw what they did. You know what I'm saying? And we lived our life based upon, and as kids do things, Don't get it wrong that kids ain't gonna mess up and do stuff. As kids, we're gonna try and break away from what our parents show us. But at the end of the day, that fear that our parents is gonna see us in a certain light, or we're gonna get in trouble for it, it restricts us from doing certain things.
I'm gonna tell you something real quick, right? You need to make your point real fast because listen, man, you can't be stretching out this thing so long. Okay, you need to squeeze that in a minute. Okay, Johnny, go.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that the question is like, you said what was the percentage?
90%.
90%. So yeah.
Kids have been raised by
So-
the grandparents or the mother only.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, the underlying issue to 90% of grandmother and the mother raising the kids,
Kids
right,
right now.
is due to the fact that a lot of times when these kids, go like teenagers go to have kids, they're not prepared
Right.
to have kids.
Right.
So not financially.
Right.
So
Or emotionally.
or even emotionally, yeah. So
Right.
it falls back onto the parents
Parents
or the
to-
grandparents to take care of the kid.
Right.
So it's like this. We have this big problem in Jamaica with this breeder culture type of thing.
Mhm.
As I said, it's coming from slavery.
Right. Right.
It's more on a level of like since when Jamaica was in the slave period after the slave trade and before emancipation.
Mhm.
Yeah, basically the mindset was just to have kids.
Have kids. Right.
So you can raise.
Gotta populate land.
You have to populate because the slave master want
More slave.
more slaves.
Right,
So
right.
the mindset was that, and now we're in the modern century, right?
Right.
So we need in the modern times. We need to actually change that.
Right.
Yes, that we need to start looking in finance, looking
Right.
at your financial situation before you even think about having kids.
Right.
We need proper Planned Parenthood.
Right.
That's what Jamaica need, and we need psychological help, psychological therapy. That's one of the biggest issues.
Okay.
So,
Let me
yeah.
I'm gonna read a quote real quick. I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. Just to tie into what we're already talking about. And just let me know. I'm just gonna read a quote and let me know what you guys feel about it. Right. So, it almost exists in upper class Jamaican men who can provide financially, but their kids who could provide financially for their kids, but often neglect them emotionally.
Right.
What do you guys think about that?
So as again,
That's
it
a
goes
bit-
back. So it goes back to this thing I'm saying with Jamaica needs psychological help. You understand? Because Jamaican people don't know how to show their emotions.
Right. And we
Yeah,
were
so-
taught not to show our
Not-
emotions.
Taught not to show, especially
Yeah.
men.
Yeah,
You understand?
right,
Taught
right.
not to show them. I mean,
Yo, boy,
let me tell you something. Let me tell you
Boy, like
something.
your girl.
I'll tell you something. Like even the females act tough.
Right.
At Jamaica, it's very rare to find like a female Jamaican that go on tough
Right. Because they had to take on the role of a man.
of a man because
Right.
again,
Because the man is exempt.
so it's like the man. It's just like the man in Jamaica. It's like a flip.
Yeah. Man then turn woman and the woman then turn man.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's like that. So
You see
Yeah.
with that, Jay, here's how I see it, right? And Shawnee B has it correct, right? Jamaica needs a widespread, and this is where the government can help, where they provide therapy. They provide therapy for the Jamaican society, where I know that here in America you find that you can go get a therapist and you can lay down on them couch for 1 hour or 2 hours and you can talk to them and you get up and you feel better and you go home. Jamaica doesn't have that, where there are so much people in the ghetto, and there's even beyond the ghetto, even people who are middle class Jamaicans or upper class Jamaicans, because we have that feeling to say, yo, you can't show your emotion, you're not a girl, or you're going like you're a girl, so you understand? So those boys embodied those emotions and they take it out in other ways. You know, me have to go on like say me a bad man, me have to do what all of this. When all it takes is for you to sit down and have that conversation with somebody to kind of point out to you why you feel the way you feel. You understand? Because you feel a particular way, and there's a reason why you feel a particular way, because there are traumas that happen in your life. Like Jamaica had like literally, Jamaica has a culture where you beat your pitney into shape, right?
Well-
and I'm not one to say all my kids got spanked by me. Spank, not beat. There's a difference. There's a difference between spanking your child, because the Bible says, don't spare the rod and spoil the child. But when you beat me, I talk about say, I've seen parents in Jamaica fist, thump, lick pitney with half of this and one, and which is wrong. That's not how you discipline a child. And those kids grow up with those trauma, and those trauma affect them throughout their life. Who is dealing with those trauma?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who is helping them to get beyond those trauma? You have to have a system, and this is where the government can help, where they can put systems in place, or they can put therapy in place that can help those kids understand. Look here, and if you're father.